All right, grab a seat, grab a seat, grab a seat. Is there audio on that? There you go. All right. Everyone find a spot to sit? Well, hey guys, if we haven't met yet, my name's Nate, and I'm super glad everybody's here tonight. What's up? Really excited to start a brand new series on this little thing we call change. And I don't know about you guys, but I think it's about this time of year in almost every school year that I had that had kind of settled in on me that like nothing really had changed. You know, when school starts, you have this sense of, okay, this year's going to be different. This year, I'm going to fit in with those people. This year, school's not going to be a drag. This year, I'm going to just do better than I've done before. But then about this time of year, a couple months in, you're looking around and you're going, nothing's really changed. And you know the reason nothing's really changed is because often we didn't change. Truth is, we live in the crazy cycle, doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting a different result, expecting things to change. For instance, maybe for you, I went through this a lot where I was like, okay, this is the year I'm not stressing about what people think about me anymore. But then you find yourself waking up in the morning being like, okay, how do I look? What are they going to think about the way I look? And some of you find yourself scrolling your feed to see what you are included in or what you're excluded from, constantly looking at likes and comments. And then you go to school and you're constantly analyzing everything someone said or didn't say. Like, what are they thinking about me? And they're like thinking about, what they're going to have for lunch. But you're sure they're thinking about you. And so you wanted to not stress about what they thought, but nothing's changed. And so you find yourself in the same rut, stuck, unable to change. And I think if we're all honest, we know that we need to change. In fact, we might have identified some things that we'd like to change. You know, that bad habit, that bad subject in school, that bad relationship, that bad haircut, I need to work on that, okay? Whatever it is, we know there's some things that have to change, but you know what? Often we see who we want to become, but we're not sure, what do I need to change to actually get there? And even if we did know what we needed to change, at the end of the day, we're like, I'm going to quit in like a week, so what's the use? So how do we actually change? I mean, I know for me, for so long, I knew that I needed to let go of my insecurity that caused so much awkwardness whenever I was around my friends, but for so long, I didn't know how to find confidence. I knew for so long that I wanted to really, truly love people and be loved by people and be in deep, genuine relationships, but so often I lived on the surface as this judgmental, petty, surface-level person, and I didn't know how to change that. I knew that I wanted to actually have a powerful relationship with God, but I just didn't know how. And I would bet you have things in your life you want to change too. Physically, socially, emotionally, spiritually. And tonight, I want to talk to you about the most powerful, explosive change agent that you could ever find in your life. It's a gift that God gives us that can absolutely give you direction on how to change to become that person and help you find the strength to become that person, to follow through. Does anyone want to guess what that gift from God, that powerful change agent is? It's prayer. It's the gift of prayer. And I know for some of you, you're already like, oh, dang it, Nate. You had me, man. You had me leaning in going, yeah, I want to change. But then you said prayer. And bro, prayer, it's nice and all, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's like talking to the ceiling. It's like talking to that wall. You can talk to it all you want. It's not going to do anything for you. And I would have to agree with you when I was in my teenage years. I would have said that was my experience. I can remember praying so often, God, please just give me some friends. I just want to fit in. Could you just make that girl that I like me, God? Like, I kid you not, these are things that I prayed. And I remember one specific time when I was in, as if you haven't done it. I remember one specific time where I was praying that I would get on a basketball team. And I got on the team because I just wanted to make some friends while I played something I enjoyed, even though I wasn't good at it. But then I got on the team. And when I got on the team, a rumor started to spread that the only reason I got on the team was I cried to my daddy, who cried to the coach who got me on the team, and that meant that somebody else didn't get on the team that they liked better. So you know what happened when I got on the team that I prayed to be on? I got bullied. I got torn down. And I was the last person that anyone wanted to be friends with. So thanks a lot, God. The ultimate thing I wanted didn't happen, and actually it got worse. So I can relate to feeling like prayer doesn't really do any good. Is God really even listening? And I just want to tell y'all, it's so different for me now. I want to tell y'all tonight that I discovered that my approach to prayer was so messed up. And I want to show you what I discovered, because I think it can make a massive change in your life. Because prayer, God gives us all these powerful promises about prayer, about how it can move mountains, about how it can change our life, about how it can change our world. And they're all true. But we got to approach prayer in God's way, not our way. And so I want to unpack what that looks like for you. So first off, one thing we have to know all throughout the series, you're going to hear us say it a lot, is that prayer equals change. Prayer equals change. Everyone say that with me. Prayer equals change. Now, let me just say, if you're here tonight and you're like, no, it doesn't, Nate, because I'm new, I'm a part of this thing, but I don't even think there is a God. If you're here and you're like, I don't even think prayer is a real thing, I think you're a little bit crazy. You're talking to the ceiling, Nate. I just want you to know I'm so glad you're here. I just want you to stick with me over the next couple weeks and ask your questions and challenge our thoughts. We welcome that here. You belong here no matter what you believe. We say it all the time and we mean it. But I encourage you just to listen, to maybe see if what I've discovered is true for you. Because I have discovered that God is there. And I have discovered the power of prayer, and maybe it'll click for you like it clicked for me. But we're so glad you're here. Now, first off, I want to define prayer as we usually think about it. It's the way we act, even if we couldn't say it out loud. See, I believe, here's what we think. Prayer is seeing a need and asking God to meet it. Prayer is seeing a need and asking God to meet it. That's the way most people pray, right? We say, God, oh no, I have a test. Oh crap, can you help me? Oh God, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? It's seeing a need and then asking God to jump in and fix it. And so I want you to see that is, we do need God's help, but that's not really what we need to be praying. I want to open your eyes tonight through my incredible drawing skills. Can I bless you with my incredible drawing skills? I don't know why you guys are already laughing. It's like you know a secret or something. But I want to blow your mind about prayer through my drawing skills. Okay, can everyone see this if I turn it that way? Everyone see that? Okay. So here's what I have to start off with. I have to draw a perfect aggregate of all of you. So I'm about to do that, okay? You guys ready for this? All right, don't look. Don't cheat, okay? Are you ready? All right, I'm gonna get this here, okay? And then we gotta do one of these, okay? And then, all right, I'm gonna get your exact physiques all aggregated together, okay, here. Hey, okay, and then, okay, there and there. Okay, all right, are you guys ready to see you? All right, there you are. Boom. Amazing, right? I mean, did you guys notice? Did you guys notice how I captured your guns? Okay. And by the way, you got to conceal and carry. Well, it's not even conceal and carry. I mean, you're just, it's out there. I also captured your calf muscles. And let's just say you're very, very lit because it looks like you have fire on your head. But that's you. All right. Now you guys ready for me to draw God? Okay. All right. You guys are ready for me to draw God. Don't cheat. Don't anyone look. Okay. It's a very particular drawing. It's going to probably blow your mind. Are you ready? Boom. God. Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. This is me trying. I'm not even joking. That's me trying. I know it's sad. But here's what I want you to see. This is our approach to God. This is our approach to prayer. We see a need, and then we, in all of our amazing wisdom, tell God how he should be doing his job. We see a need and we tell God what's up and what he needs to do. That's how we approach prayer. And that is not the way to approach prayer. This is why it's not making any difference in your life. And let me explain why through Romans 11:33 through 36. We'll put it up on the screen. It says this, "Oh, the depth of the riches of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable his judgments, and his paths are beyond tracing out." In other words, he's got all that wisdom. He's infinitely wisdom. Nobody is even close. Okay? And it goes on. Who has known the mind of the Lord? Nobody. Or who has been his counselor and give him advice? Nobody. Who has ever given to God that God had to repay him? Nobody. For from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be the glory forever. Okay, here's the clear message. He's really, 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 to times infinity, bajillion, all that, smart, knowledgeable, wise, everything. He knows everything about you, about us, about life, about what we're here to do. He has got it all. Now, a lot of us go, yeah, okay, yeah, Nate, that's the Sunday school answer. I knew that a long time ago. Here's the problem. We don't live like it, especially when it comes to prayer. Let me prove it to you. Notice that verse doesn't say everything is from God, through God, and for God, except prayer. No, it doesn't say prayer should come from you. It says everything comes from God. And so when it says everything, it means prayer on top of that. So if that is true, then it makes sense that this approach would have no power. This approach of us in our puny little brains telling God in his infinite power could never inform him on what to do. It needs to be the other way around. This is why this approach is so powerless. This is why it doesn't change you. Think about it this way. Let's say that I was tasked to teach you how to drive a car, and your parents trusted me with that. And so they dropped you off at a gas station where we met with the extra car, a Lamborghini, for you and I to learn how to drive in together, because that's normal. And I'm like, let's go. So we hop in the car. We turn it on. Guess what? Out of gas. Don't worry. I know what to do. And you're like, so do I, but okay, whatever. So we get out of the car, and I'm like, let's go inside. You're like, no, the gas is, and I'm like, no, let's go inside. So we go inside, and you're like, okay, what is he doing? And I'm over in the corner, and I'm like, get over here. And I pick up some Red Bull, and I put it in your arms, and I get another case, and I put it in your arms. I'm like, I'm going to get some of the Monster. And I'm like, all right, you got the Monster. And then we're like walking over, and then I'm like, I need a funnel, and I put a funnel over here. And then we walk over, and we put it on there, and we pay for everything. And you're like, what is happening? Maybe he thinks he's going to fall asleep. Maybe he just needs a little pick-me-up. But this is weird. Where are we going to put in the Lambo? I don't know. But then we head outside. And I'm like, all right, here we go. I pop open the gas thingamajigger and then unscrew the capajimajigger. And then I shove the filter, not the filter. What am I looking for? Funnel. I shove the funnel in there. And then I'm like, all right, crack a Red Bull open. And you're like, what? And I'm like, pour it in there. And I'm like, what? No. At that moment, here's what you should do. Slap me upside the head, call your parents, say, get me out of here, because I've lost my marbles. Because here's the thing, Lambos don't run on Red Bull. But I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. They should run on Red Bull and Monster. I know better. This is going to take your Lambo up a notch. Just trust me. Now, at that point, you should lose your mind on me and take the keys away and never let me drive again. But here's my point. What is going to end up happening to the car when I try to turn it on with Red Bull and the gas tank? It's going to kill the car. That car that could take us to amazing places now can take us nowhere. By starting with the wrong fuel, the wrong start, the car can't do what it's created to do. And just the same, if we want prayer to take us somewhere, if we want it to change our life, we have to start with the right fuel, the right approach, the right perspective. If we start out with our perspective, our way, telling God what to do, we are all wrong. It's like putting Red Bull in a car and expecting it to go. It's not going to work. No offense, you ain't that smart. God is. And so we have to know that for prayer to change us, we have to allow prayer to be defined by the God who we read about in those scriptures. The God who changed their life. So I want to redo this diagram, okay? I'm not going to erase you or me. I mean us, because that's way too good. But I want to look at this a little differently, okay? Here's what I want to do. Instead of it being an arrow from you here, here's what I really think it should look like. What some people might call a prayer circle. And what is a prayer circle all about? Well, it's stating this fact that prayer, I want you to get this, prayer should begin with God and should end with God. When I started to realize that prayer doesn't start with me because I'm real dumb compared to God, but it should start with the infinite God and his wisdom, that's when my life started to change. When I started to realize I should be praying for the things that would allow me to become like Jesus, because you know what? That's going to change me a lot. Being like him, where I have impatience, he puts patience. Where I have hatred, he puts love. That's change. The change that we really need. So it starts with realizing it's got to start with God. It's got to end with God. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about the Trinity. Now, the Trinity is something revealed to us throughout the Bible of who God is. It means that we have God, 3 in 1. All right? So we have God, the Father, that we'll put here. We have God, the Holy Spirit, and we'll put the Holy Spirit here. And then we have God, the Son, in Jesus. So we have the Holy Trinity. Now, you're thinking, how can there be 3 and how can there be 1? Well, let me just reveal to you, it's God. So we're not going to fully understand him, right? He's beyond us. It makes sense. If we could figure him all out, then he wouldn't be God. So I get that there's some of this that it's like, well, how does that work? And we could talk for a long time, and there's some beautiful things to discover in that, but that's another message. But I want you to see that the Trinity is fully involved in prayer in a way that often we just totally miss. Like, for instance, what is the Holy Spirit's role when it comes to our prayer circle? Well, I want to read for you in 1 Corinthians 2, 10 through 12. It says this: the Spirit searches all things, even the deep things of God. For who among men knows the thoughts of a man except the man's spirit within him? In the same way, no one knows the thoughts of God except the Spirit of God. We have not received the Spirit of the world. Listen, we receive who's from God, that we may understand what God has freely given us. The Holy Spirit's role is to reveal the very thoughts of God to us. Now that's crazy. I mean, think about how helpful that would be just in everyday life. You know, you have that favorite artist that you've always wondered, what were they thinking when they wrote my favorite song? Or maybe you're thinking about that incredible business person. That's crazy. Because the Holy Spirit, listen, the Holy Spirit reveals the thoughts of God to us. This is what I want you to understand. The Holy Spirit reveals the thoughts of God to us. Now that's really important. But we're working our way around the circle. What about you? What's your role in prayer? Well, the good news is Jesus is our ultimate example. So let's look at what he does. In John 5:19, it says, Jesus gave them this answer. I tell you the truth. The Son can do nothing by himself. He can only do what he sees his Father, God the Father, doing. Because whatever the God the Father does, the Son, Jesus, also does. Now you might be like, Nate, that doesn't say anything about prayer. Well, that's okay, because what he's saying is I only imitate what I see my Father doing and saying, and that's the way we're to pray. We're to pray in imitation of what we see God's heart is, God's desire. So that is your role, is to pray in imitation of what you see is the heart of God. His thoughts, his desires, revealed to us through the Holy Spirit. That's what prayers tapped into the heart of God. But there's really only one way for that to work. If we want to do what God says in our prayers, we have to first hear what God says. So God's wisdom revealed to us through the Holy Spirit needs to be the fuel for our prayers that actually make a difference. It needs to be the focus of our prayers around what will really take us somewhere and give us the strength to stay on that path even when we want to quit. And so for this reason, here's kind of a game-changing perspective on prayer in light of all this. Prayer works best. Prayer works best when we listen first and speak second. Prayer works best when we listen to God first and then we speak his heart second. Listen, so many of you never listen to him. So it's no wonder, again, that our approach is all off. Prayer doesn't make the difference. But we don't want to leave someone out. I mean, we all know you can't leave Jesus out, right? Okay, so we talked about the Holy Spirit and the Father and you, but what is Jesus providing for us? Okay, guys, it's so easy to just read the Bible and be like, no, listen to what Jesus is doing. What then shall we say in response to this? If God is for us, who can be against us? Christ Jesus, who died, more than that, who raised to life, is at the right hand of God and is also interceding for us. Y'all listen, God is there. The Holy Spirit is there. The Father is there. And Jesus is there in the throne room of God, advocating and praying for you right now. Present tense. He's interceding. So that means when you go to God in prayer, you're not sheepishly, kind of going to the throne room of God by yourself. Because you know what? When you walk in and meet with God, you're walking in with Jesus. Jesus is saying, Jesus stands there praying with me in my prayer. Is that what you think that God ushers you into his presence through Jesus all the time? This is so different than what I understood prayer to be. It gave me confidence to go to God. So here's the thing. Prayer starts and ends with God. That's what we see in this prayer story. Prayer isn't about trying to get God to hear all the things we need so he can get on our page. It's about us listening to what God's heart is and praying so that we can get on his page. And that's really where change begins to happen. So how do we pray then? Well, again, let's go back to what we already said. When you pray, listen first and speak second. Put that up there. When you pray, listen first and speak second. Instead of letting your prayers just jump out of your mouth to God, first sit and listen. God, what's on your heart? And then speak back to him. And a lot of students say, but Nate, listen to God. You realize how crazy that sounds. How would I even begin to do that? Again, I remember thinking, no, it's not so easy. God has given us the Bible for a reason. To reveal the story and the heart and the character of God. To reveal what he's about and what he desires. And so if we will open God's word and we will dig in and really understand it, it will open our eyes to how to pray with power that changes us from the inside out and changes our world. So I want to do that right now. I don't want to just talk about it. I want to practice it. I want to practice listening first and then speaking second. Now, how do you actually listen to God? Well, the first thing you need to do is focus. Here's what we lack. A lot of times we just jump into our time to God and we're all distracted and our phones are going off and we're talking to our friends and all this stuff is going on and we're like, well, I wonder why I didn't hear God. Well, when a friend comes to you and says, I have something really important I'd like to tell you, what do we do? Well, if we're loving, we turn off our phone, put it away, we look them straight in the eyes, we push away the noise and we say, hey, I want to hear what you have to say. That's what you start with. You start by focusing your heart on God. So right now, I want you to do that with God. Right now, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to forget that everyone else is around you. If your phone is on, please put it in your pockets. Please turn it on, do not disturb. And I want you to just tell God right now, God, I want to hear God, I need to hear your wisdom. So whatever that is in your heart, just close your eyes right now. Just hear God. Tell him, I want to hear from you. Help my heart focus. Help me to listen. Help me to forget about the distractions. I'm going to give you a few moments in silence. Just you and God. Just go ahead. Tell him. Ask him. Help you focus. on his heart, and then asking him for wisdom on how you can live out the mission to accomplish those things. Speak to him out of his wisdom. Go ahead. was praying to find real friends. Here's the thing, is if I was interested in listening to God's voice, here's how that would have been different. I spent so much time trying to get the world around me to affirm me, to like me, to tell me I was worth something, when all the while Jesus was standing there saying, I love you so much, I spread out my arms and I died for you. Nate, you don't have to get anyone else's approval. You don't have to ask if you're accepted and loved, because you already are. So instead of praying for a bunch of people to like you, why don't you learn to love yourself, because I love you, no matter what anybody says. Back then, if I would have just been listening, instead of feeling alone, see, God would have shown me the value of every person I could ever interact with. Because here's the truth. I had people at church, I had people at my school that did try to be my friend. But you know what I did? I judged them as not worth my time, as not cool enough. I want these people to accept me. I don't really care about these people. I was shallow. I was judgmental. I didn't see people's value. And if I was really listening to God and praying for his perspective, I would have found so many connections. And the list goes on and on, that if I listen to the voice of God and I listen to his wisdom and I prayed into reality, I just keep changing. I just keep growing. And that can happen for you as well. Because here is the bottom line. Prayer equals change when our prayers begin and end with God. Prayers equal change when our prayers begin and end with God. And it's not some mystery. It's something you can run after just like I have. You can see your whole life changed. Let's close in prayer. God, we do want to be changed. We do want to be transformed. We do want to experience all the power of life change and becoming whole and loving and kind people. And we have so far to go, but we thank you for this gift of prayer that as we interact with you can help us come alive in ways that we never thought.